You're sitting in a dealership, right? The salesperson slides two pieces of paper across the desk. One says lease, $312 a month. The other says buy, $589 a month. And your brain immediately goes, well, $312 is obviously the smarter move. And look, I get it. I genuinely get it. That's almost $3,000 a year you'd be saving. You could do a lot with $3,000. But here's the thing. That comparison, that side-by-side monthly payment comparison, is one of the most expensive financial illusions in America right now. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly why. Dollar for dollar, with real math. Not opinions, not vibes, math.
My name is Luis, and I spend way too much time thinking about car payments, depreciation curves, and the psychology of why we convince ourselves that certain financial decisions make sense when they absolutely do not. If you're someone who's been going back and forth between leasing and buying, and you genuinely just want somebody to sit down and walk you through the actual numbers, no agenda, no dealership spin, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. All right, let's get into it.
So first, let's understand what leasing actually is, because I think a lot of people don't fully grasp the mechanics. When you lease a car, you are paying for the vehicle's depreciation during the lease term, plus interest, which they call a money factor to make it sound less scary, plus fees and taxes. You are essentially renting the car. You don't own anything at the end. Nothing. You hand the keys back and you walk away with exactly $0 in equity. Now, you might be thinking, Luis, I know that. That's obvious. Okay, cool. But here's what most people don't realize. According to Experian's most recent auto finance data, the average monthly lease payment in the United States is around $615 a month. The average monthly payment for a new car loan? About $735. So yes, leasing is cheaper monthly, but, and this is critical, the average lease term is 3 years. Which means when that lease ends, you're right back at the dealership, signing another lease, resetting the clock, and starting a brand new cycle of payments. Meanwhile, the average new car loan is about 6 years. So after 6 years, the person who bought the car is done, finished. No more payments. The person who leased, they've signed 2 leases, possibly 3. They have paid out roughly $44,000 with absolutely nothing to show for it. Let me say that again. $44,000. Gone. No asset, no equity, nothing. All right, let's do a real comparison, because I think this is where it clicks for people. Let's take a $36,000 car, a pretty average mid-range sedan or small SUV. You lease it. Your payment is, let's say, $399 a month for 36 months. That's $14,364 over 3 years. At the end, you give the car back. Maybe you get hit with a disposition fee, usually around $300 to $400. Maybe there are excess mileage charges. Maybe there's a wear and tear charge for that scratch your kid put on the door with their scooter. So let's call it $15,000 total out the door for 3 years of driving. Scenario 2, you buy the same car. You finance $36,000 at, let's say, 6% interest for 60 months. Your monthly payment is $696. Higher, right? Obviously. Over 60 months, you pay a total of about $41,760. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets really interesting. After those 60 months, you own the car, and that car, even after 5 years, is still worth something. According to IC Cars research, the average 5-year-old vehicle retains roughly 40% of its original value. 40% of $36,000 is $14,400. So your true net cost of buying? About $27,360 for 5 years of driving. That's roughly $5,472 per year. Now, let's go back to the lease. $15,000 for 3 years. That's $5,000 per year. Okay, so the annual cost is actually pretty close, right? But wait, we're not done, because the person who bought the car can keep driving it. Year 6, year 7, year 8, no payment, just insurance and maintenance. Every single month they drive that car past the loan payoff date, they are essentially driving for free compared to the lessee, who is starting a brand new lease and writing another check. If you drive a purchased car for 10 years, which is below the current average vehicle lifespan of 12 plus years, your effective annual cost drops to under $3,000 a year. The leaser? Still paying $5,000 a year. Every single year, forever. Over a 10-year window, buying costs you roughly $27,000. Leasing costs you approximately $50,000. That's a $23,000 difference. Look, that's not pocket change. That's a down payment on a house in a lot of markets. So, if the math is this clear, why do so many people lease? And this is where I get a little frustrated, honestly. Not at you, at the system. Because the entire leasing model is designed to exploit a very specific psychological bias. It's called present bias. We are wired, literally, neurologically wired, to prioritize what feels good right now over what's better for us long term. A lower monthly payment feels good today. The fact that you'll pay $50,000 over a decade instead of $27,000, that's a future you problem. And our brains are terrible at caring about future you. There's also something called the hedonic treadmill. You get a new car, it's exciting for about 90 days. Then it becomes just your car. The new car smell fades. The thrill is gone. And if you're on a 3-year lease cycle, guess what's perfectly timed? Right when you're getting bored, the lease is up. And you get to feel that new car dopamine hit all over again. The leasing model is basically a subscription service to a feeling. And you're paying a massive premium for it. Here's a stat that kinda blew my mind. J.D. Power has reported that more than half of luxury vehicle transactions are leases. More than half. And it makes sense, right? Because leasing lets people drive a car they honestly cannot afford to own. And I say that with zero judgment. I say it because I want you to hear it clearly. If the only way you can drive a particular car is by leasing it, you cannot afford that car. And that's okay. It's an important thing to understand about yourself and your finances.
Now, look, am I saying leasing is always the wrong call? No, I want to be fair here. There are specific situations where leasing can make legitimate financial sense. If you're self-employed and you can write off the lease payments as a business expense, the tax advantages can genuinely shift the math. If you absolutely need a new, reliable, warranty-covered vehicle at all times for professional reasons, maybe you're a real estate agent driving clients around, leasing provides that consistency. And if you live in a state with high sales tax and the tax treatment on leases is more favorable, that's a real factor. But here's my honest take. For probably 85% of the people watching this video, buying is the better financial move. And if you really want to optimize, buying a 2 to 3-year-old certified pre-owned vehicle is the best move. You let somebody else eat the steepest part of the depreciation curve, which is typically around 20 to 30% in the first 2 years, and you get a nearly new car with a manufacturer-backed warranty at a significantly lower price. That is the cheat code. That right there. All right. So let's talk about what to actually do with all of this. Here are the moves I'd make if I were car shopping tomorrow. First, figure out your total cost of ownership, not just your monthly payment. Dealers want you focused on the monthly number because it's easy to manipulate. They can stretch your loan term, adjust the down payment, tweak the trade-in value, all to hit a monthly number that feels comfortable, while the total cost balloons. Don't fall for it. Calculate the full amount you'll pay over the entire period you plan to own or lease the vehicle.
Second, if you're buying, target a loan term of 48 months or less. 60 months is fine if the interest rate is low, but beyond that, you're paying a premium in interest, and you risk going underwater on the loan, meaning you owe more than the car is worth. Third, seriously consider certified pre-owned. I know the new car thing is appealing, I get it. But a 2-year-old car with 20,000 miles and a CPO warranty is going to save you potentially $8,000 to $12,000 off the sticker price. Those savings alone could fund a Roth IRA contribution for 2 years. Think about that. Your car decision could literally fund your retirement. Fourth, if you do decide to lease, negotiate the capitalized cost. Most people don't realize you can negotiate the price of the vehicle in a lease just like you would in a purchase. The lower the cap cost, the lower your monthly payment, and the less you're paying overall for the depreciation you're financing. And fifth, run the 10-year number. Whatever decision you're leaning toward, project it out 10 years. What does leasing cost you over a decade versus buying and holding? When you see those cumulative numbers side by side, the right choice usually becomes painfully obvious. Here's what I want to leave you with. The average American household will spend over $700,000 on vehicles over the course of a lifetime. $700,000. That is an enormous amount of money. And the difference between making smart car decisions and just defaulting to whatever feels easy in the moment can literally be the difference between retiring at 60 versus retiring at 70. I'm not being dramatic. That's what the math says. So the next time you're sitting across from a salesperson and they slide that lease offer across the desk with the friendly monthly payment, I want you to pause. I want you to remember this video. And I want you to ask yourself, what does this actually cost me? Not this month, but over the next decade of my life. Because once you start making financial decisions through that lens, everything changes. If this video helped you see car financing differently, hit that subscribe button. I make videos like this every single week, breaking down the real math behind the financial decisions that quietly shape your entire future. Drop a comment and tell me, are you team lease or team buy? I genuinely want to know. And I'll see you in the next one.